season without a contract, much like last year,
Yep.
I guess, what's the consideration set for yourself when it comes to your future in hockey?
Well, I want to keep playing. No, I mean, I think there. Obviously, like I said last year, I'm pretty open about it. Like, I'd love to stay here and make it work, and I think I'm in a little different place maybe than I was last year, looking at things. But I believe in this group and want to be here, and I know how close we are, and I don't take that lightly. I've spent most of my career, watching the first, second, third round, fourth round, right? And so getting a chance to actually do it for 2 straight years, I'll tell you what, it's hard waking up yesterday. Hard going to bed the night before. It's still hard, I get random feelings just of sick to my stomach walking around right now, right? Like, because how, the opportunity you have, and as you get older and you go a lot of years without making playoffs or losing out, and then you get a chance like this, and you're got more behind you than ahead of you. You appreciate it more, and it hurts more. It hurts a lot more. So, but having said that, I think there's a lot to be proud of this year as a group, and there's only one winner. There's only one team that goes home happy in the summer. So I think we lose sight of that sometimes. We feel like it's going to be a happy ending no matter what, and it's not, right? It's almost harder, and it's harder to lose when we did than losing the first round or not making playoffs. Way harder. So, yeah, I believe in this group. I mean, it's a young core of guys, and I think our older guys are still playing pretty well as well, so contributing a lot of things. So I think there's a lot of good pieces here, and hopefully the team can stay together and we can have another crack at it.
When you say that you're in a little bit of a different place this year, is that more of a reflection on kind of the season that you had, or?
No, I was talking more probably from a contract perspective, because that was the nature of the question. I think at this point, we'd. As a family, I think my kids are getting to the point where you're looking for some stability, so one-year deals are tough. Again, I don't know what's going to transpire. I don't know, I'll have to wait and see what's out there, right? And I feel like I've, hopefully put myself in a good position, and, I've really enjoyed being here, and I think I've gotten great feedback about things, and, it's hopefully we can continue to move forward.
How do you assess this year for yourself personally? You had probably one of your best offensive years regular season.
Yeah.
And probably one of your most frustrating postseason runs.
Yeah.
How do you kind of balance it out?
It's hard, right? Because I didn't change anything, and you get a point per game in the regular season, then the playoffs come and you find. I think I was hitting goalposts that were on nets that weren't even in the rink. So. It's hard. I mean, I just talk to coaches about it, and it's like, man, like, I think a lot of I talk about process all the time, because I think that's the most important word as an athlete. And I think it was pretty good. And I had, a ton of people reach out to me, and, I'm going home, I'm pulling my hair out, right? I'm going crazy because I want to help this team win. I want to produce. I'm counted on to do that. And I just, sometimes it just doesn't happen. And there's no, you got to find a way, and I'll tell you what, it fueled me. Losing and some stuff I was going through last year fueled me every day I walked in that gym this summer, and that's going to be on my mind. I won't, it was on my mind until game 1, this year. I know I like that motivation, and I think the way I look at it is what a blessing it is to wake up every day and have something to work towards like that, right? And I think the hardest summer I might ever have is if I ever do get a chance to win the Stanley Cup, you feel like you had a perfect year because you won. What's that first day in the gym look like? That's a tough day. Hey, how do I move forward? So I try and look at everything as, on a grand scale, and it stings really bad right now, but it just means it's going to fuel me more later, and that's the way I try and look at it, and I take it very seriously, and there's no one harder on myself than me, and probably too much at times, and that probably played into it a little bit too as it continued. So just, I'm an older guy, but I feel like I'm getting better and, learning more and more every year. So I won't stop doing that until I hang them up.
Remember on this day last year, you mentioned how some of those personal things, the change in scenery,
Yeah.
then being brought up by Nashville, all those things kind of hit later in the season.
Yeah.
And you really felt those hit.
Yeah.
And you were committed to going into the next year and not having those.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you kind of?
No, I think as athletes, we always have some baggage and some different things that we carry with us. And I think a lot of it at times is heavy, and then sometimes it fuels you. And I think for me, I've learned to really use it as fuel and use it as, everyone knows I'm a Christian guy, and, God only gives you what you can handle. And I think sometimes it feels like stuff, what doesn't kill you is going to kill you. And sometimes what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right? And that's an old cliche, but, I think I moved forward past that. And now I was able to play pretty free this year. And even in the playoffs, as heavy as feeling, not producing and not, breaking through like I would have liked to, and probably with my game, probably deserved to a lot more. I mean, I learned from that, and I'm going to handle it differently going forward, and I'll handle it better. And, it's pretty tough to have to be perfect all the time. There's no such thing in this game. And I think the biggest thing I can do for myself this summer is probably forgive myself a little bit and take it easy on myself a little bit and just let it be motivation and not, I don't need to, I'll be lifting weights in the gym. I don't need to have more weight on my shoulders, right? So you don't need to put more on yourself. So I think that's, going forward, I think every year there's no reason why you can't, it doesn't matter what age you're at. I think you can continue to get better and become wiser and whether it's physical or mental, I think there's always room to grow. So that's what I'll be looking to do, and hopefully come back better for it next year.
Did you guys as a team talk about the offensive? Because you weren't the only one who was
Yeah,
stuck on
no,
one
yeah,
goal,
yeah.
By any stretch. How did you as a team feel about the offensive game, right?
Yeah, that was probably the difference. I think, we had that 5-game run that Mikko went on in his line that was absolutely on fire. But outside of that, I think, we all kind of were in the same boat. It wasn't, and that didn't make it easier, individually, because now you're feeling bad for some of your teammates and hoping that they break through. And yeah, I mean, playoffs is such a crazy thing because usually in the regular season you work your way through stuff, but when the other team is on all the time, and I think a big thing too was, unfortunately we weren't able to score first enough to make a team press a little bit more. Teams were defending leads against us, and now they're playing better defense than even the start of the game. So now it's even harder to score. They're not taking penalties. They're not, we were, chasing it a lot. And what's the solution to that? I mean, I think I don't know what the solution is. Score first. Like, what do you want me to see? You know what I mean? And we were trying, right? So it just wasn't meant to be this year. And that might sound like I'm, passing it down the road, but it's like, it's not, that's how tight it is in the playoffs. And we're such a great team, and we can score. We've shown it. And I think everybody will go home pretty damn motivated this summer and know how close we are. And you see this all the time. It takes some teams some time to get over a threshold every now and then. And, I'm sure there'll be some tweaks to the team, and hopefully we're able to get all the, the big pieces back, and we'll see how it goes, going forward.
Hey, Matt, I know you said there's some contractual things to deal with this summer, but compared to last year where you were just sort of a guy joining this team, how much more ownership, how much more does this feel like you're a team part of, not you specifically,
Yeah,
you part of this group in this team?
No, I started to feel like that last year for sure. And no, I feel like that 100%. And, if I end up somewhere else, it'd be hard. I mean, because I'm a very, I'm a relationship person. I love, that's who I am, and I've made a lot of really great relationships here. And with the guys, I feel, yeah, I mean, I definitely feel that way, what you said. And so, hopefully I don't have to leave that, right? So, yeah, I mean, it's hard for me to answer all these about the contract stuff because we haven't talked yet, and obviously, I mean, the trade deadline was nuts with the move we made, and I'll find out more coming up, but yeah, I mean, I think you guys know my intentions, and hopefully it works out. But at the same time, I got a young family that I got to. It's amazing getting to this point in my life how, a lot of my life has been about me and my career, and even my wife, she gets that, and that's part of it. And then now with the kids, it's changing very quickly, and my son is going into grade 1 next year, and it's different. So I gotta make sure I'm doing the right things for them, number one. So that's kind of where, trying to mix the hockey and the personal, right? So. But yeah, no, I definitely feel the way you brought up, and I'm grateful to feel that way.
Matt, Jake Oettinger, one of the best goalies in the NHL all season, especially so in the first couple rounds of the playoffs. How tough was it for your group to see his season end the way it did?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get into that too much, but what I'll say is we love Otter as a guy, as a goalie, all the way around. He's a franchise goaltender, and I don't think anything that happened, is going to change that. And I thought he was great. It's tough to find much fault with him at all this season. I think what happened is you're trying to find a spark, and I'm not going to, address more than that because I love both everybody involved in the situation, and it's not on me to comment, to be honest with you. But what I will say about Jake is, how much I've enjoyed getting to know him and be around him. He and I are quite tight, and he's a mature kid for 25 or whatever he is. And I mean, man, it's stressful enough going and playing a playoff game as a forward when you have a bunch of line mates and everything. You got this kid back there by himself, trying to carry the the mail back there. I have a lot of respect and admiration for him.
I meant more so on your guys' group not being able to just said that score enough goals to help him out.
Oh yeah,
tough
yeah.
To see how much he did and not be able to kind of reward him.
Yeah, we hated it for everyone involved. We hated it for the D-man. I mean, you got Essa killing, a gazillion minutes of penalties, and we're not able to score enough, for him, for Jake, for the city. I mean, Frank, we're so grateful to have the fans we have and everything, and we know how much they want a Stanley Cup here again. And so, yeah, no, you feel like you let people down. You do. If you don't feel like that, I don't think you're in the right headspace to win as a group. And I think, I think we. It's going to stick with us. It's going to take a few weeks to shed that, and get rid of feeling the way we do. And I hope everyone knows how hard we worked and tried. And it doesn't always go the way you want it to. And we know that we need to be better in that respect, and we'll work on that next year.
You know Mikko pretty well. How hard is it to do what he's going to have to do now? He's kind of going to be the face of this franchise for the next 8 years, and then we've seen Eichel, we've seen other guys carry that weight, and how do you balance that? He seems like, just in seeing him, he seems a lot, quote-unquote, different than the typical Finnish player. He seems very outgoing and part of the leadership group.
Yeah, no, I think, here's how, I think that's more of a, I think the way that you're phrasing it is a little bit more of a media-driven outsider look at it. I mean, people are always trying to put a face on stuff, but Frank, look at the team we have. He doesn't need to be that. You know what I'm saying? Okay, with his contract and what he's done in the past, maybe that's how he's looked at. Yeah, but he's going to go through stuff. He did here early, right? And other people were able to, pick up the load and carry it. That's what a team is, right? There's not one playoff run that happens or season where one guy from start to finish is perfect and dynamite. It just doesn't happen that way. And if it did, you're not winning. So I don't think inside that room anyone's looking at him to be, Superman and put us all on his back and carry it, because that's unfair for him, but B, the rest of us have enough pride in what we can do, and we, you know what I mean? So there's a lot of really good hockey players in that room, and it's not like, So I think, I don't think we look at it that way, and I don't think he does either. I think he knows he's part of a of something. He's a big part of it, and he's going to be for a long time. And there's going to be expectations with the contract. There always is. But when you sign that, that's part of what comes with territory.
Good.
I have
One
one
last
last,
one,
oh, go ahead, please.
You've had the opportunity to play with James Ben. He's also going into the summer without a contract. He said he wants to be here. He is
Yeah.
Mr. Dallas Star. But can you just speak on, if he doesn't end up coming back, what influence he's had on this team and the legacy he leaves in this room?
I mean, you want to talk about kind of immortal type statue out front of the rink type person and player and leader. That's Jamie Benn. That's probably the best way I could put it. I got to know him even better this year. We spent a lot of time together, had so many good times, and I hope those good times keep going for both of us together. And I think it'd be a crime, if he's not a Dallas Star for life. And I'd be shocked if it went. I don't know. Like, we haven't talked about it, so that's not any insider anything there. But so don't read into that. But we, he bleeds. He bleeds green, and he's going to go down as one of the greatest Dallas Stars to ever play. For a long, long time. And hopefully he's able to continue his career, and he's still a great player, and he brings so much to the table for us, more than people would know, more than I knew before I got here. When I got here, I saw, you see it from a different lens, and I've been just extremely impressed and blown away by what he brings.
I have one more, it's just from a player's perspective. I asked you this about coaches and handshake lines, because that's been a topic lately. How do you feel about it? Because I understand where Paul Maurice was coming from and his thoughts about just players, but also when you see the human interaction between coaches, especially ones that have had those players on previous teams, that's pretty special too.
Yeah, I think it's great. I mean, it's the team, right? The coaches, we have relationships with guys maybe prior, like you said. Like, I think there's a narrative. Like, obviously, people know Pete's narrative. I mean, and where it's like he's been a great coach and has got teams to right near the end or to the end, and so guys root for it's. I mean, I'm sure he loves hearing guys say, "Hey, I'm rooting for you. Like, go get it." Like, you know what I mean? And when we're on the other side of that, you maybe see somebody that you played with or played for at some point and get to. Yeah, I have no problem with that. I think they're part of the team, and they're such a big part. Coaching is so big in the playoffs. It's so they I think they deserve to be there just as much as we do.
Good.
Good. Awesome, guys. Thanks.